I think we've all had that moment. You're playing a new video game, maybe, or you're in a VR walkthrough of a building, and the geometry, the shapes, they look perfect. The curve of a car, say. But then you look at the reflections, like the glint on the chrome, and
Hmm.
it just looks a bit off. Little blurry, kind of artificial. It just pulls you right out of it.
It really does. And that specific problem, that high-fidelity view-dependent appearance, is one of the hardest things for real-time 3D rendering, especially for methods like 3D Gaussian splatting or 3D GS. So our mission today is to dig into a new mathematical framework. It's called Spherical Voronoi, or SV,
Yeah.
and it really aims to fix that exact issue, to give us those perfectly sharp highlights and reflections we see in the real world.
Okay, let's set the stage then. Why has this been so hard? The standard approach for a long time has been spherical harmonics, right? SH.
That's right. And SH is great because it's fast and it's stable, but its fundamental problem is that it's a low-pass filter. It smooths everything out.
So trying to make a tiny, sharp glint of light just results in a blurry mess.
A blurry mess, or, what they call Gibbs ringing artifacts. You just can't use a low-frequency tool to capture high-frequency detail. People have tried other things like spherical Gaussians or betas, but they were just too unstable to really work with.
So the old ways tried to blend everything together.
Exactly. And Spherical Voronoi, SV, it completely flips that idea on its head. It introduces a unified framework that explicitly partitions the viewing directions. The easiest way to think about it is to picture the surface of a ball that represents every possible angle you could look from.
Okay.
Instead of smoothing the information on that ball, SV divides it up into these little learnable regions. They call them Voronoi cells.
So it's like faceting a diamond.
That's a perfect analogy. Each facet or each cell can capture a single perfect spike of light, and that light doesn't bleed or blur into the next facet over. This gives it what they call an adaptive decomposition. It can use lots of tiny facets for detailed areas and bigger ones for diffuse, less complex surfaces.
That sounds way more flexible. But I mean, isn't managing all these separate little pieces more complicated? Does it introduce a new kind of instability?
You'd think so, but what's so clever here is that it's actually easier and more stable to optimize than the old methods like SG. They pull this off with a really neat mathematical trick. It's a softmax function with a temperature parameter they call tau.
A temperature parameter.
Yeah, it's like a magic dial. You turn it down to a low tau and you get that soft, diffuse look. But you crank it up high and it allows for these incredibly crisp, mirror-like reflections. It lets them handle the entire spectrum of light, from blurry to sharp, with just one stable mechanism.
Now that is elegant, finding one simple function to control all that chaos. This deep dive is sponsored by Embersilk. Look, if your business is trying to figure out where AI agents can actually make a real impact, or if you need help with complex software automation or integration, Embersilk has the expertise. They handle everything from AI training to complex software development. Check out embersilk.com for all your AI needs.
Okay, so let's talk about the proof. How does this actually perform when you benchmark it? What are the numbers?
The results are pretty impressive. For general rendering, SV consistently performs better across big benchmarks like ZipNerf F360. And critically, it gets a higher PSNR score, that's the metric for photorealistic quality, than all those old methods, and even beats powerful neural baselines like ZipNerf.
Wow, wait. It's beating ZipNerf. That's huge. That's like the state-of-the-art for heavy-duty neural rendering.
It is. So you have an explicit mathematical model outperforming a massive neural network designed for this exact problem.
But the real prize, the thing you mentioned at the start, is the reflection modeling. Absolutely. That's where it truly shines. They use the SV framework to create something called Voronoi light probes. And the key here is that it's a fully explicit formulation. You don't need a huge, complex neural decoder on the back end to make sense of the lighting data. The simple, efficient model achieves state-of-the-art quality on really tough reflective scenes, and it even runs faster than the previous best method, RefGS. You get quality and speed.
Which is the combination you need for real-time photorealism.
Exactly. So if we zoom out a bit, what Spherical Voronoi really shows us is that sometimes the best answer isn't a bigger, more complex neural network. Sometimes it's a more carefully designed, compact mathematical idea that uses simple geometry to solve the problem elegantly. It's a huge step toward making real-time photorealism something we can all experience.
That's such a powerful idea. And it leaves me with a final thought, If this kind of explicit model can solve such a complex rendering problem so well, what other areas of digital complexity, way beyond just 3D graphics, could be completely simplified and sped up just by finding the right compact mathematical function to replace a giant neural network? The elegant solution is almost always the best one. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please subscribe to the show. Hey, leave us a 5-star review if you can. It really does help get the word out. Thanks for tuning in.